Today I rise not only with my own voice, but with the voice of Evie, her bark, and the 2,096 people who have signed this petition as of this morning. I speak on behalf of Dean and Anitra Jackson, Evie's loving family, and I acknowledge Dean's presence in the gallery today, and I believe Anitra is watching the live stream. When I first met Dean and Anitra to hear about their dog Evie, I expected heartwarming stories of companionship. Instead, I, like many Territorians, was deeply moved by the heartbreak they endured. Our first official meeting back in November last year was both emotional and informative. Although Dean and Anitra had beautiful memories, stories and keepsakes of their Cocker Spaniel Evie, a series of horrific events led to their loss of Evie and the shocking discovery of the lack of regulation around animal boarding facilities in the Northern Territory. For those that do not know Evie's story, I will try to do her memory justice and share it with you. Evie was dropped off with her best mate, Waffy, to a boarding facility so they could be looked after while Dean and Anitra travelled interstate to attend a funeral. This was the Jacksons' first time using a pet boarding facility, and having met the business owners previously and reassured by the promise of comfort, air conditioning and personal care, they trustingly placed their beloved family members in the hand of the facility. 3 days later, when the Jacksons were on a plane home, on their way back from the funeral, they received a call to advise them that Evie had broken a bone, but that she was at the vet and everything was under control. They were understandably upset by this news and concerned with the minimal information provided. They contacted the vet clinic and were unexpectedly told that Evie was in a critical condition, unresponsive with major blood loss and wounds indicating that she had been mauled. Evie's family has been through an ordeal I wouldn't wish on any pet owner. Stuck in an airport with a long plane ride ahead, filled with worried about the welfare of their family member. Sadly, despite the efforts of the veterinary team, Evie passed away that evening. Worse, all these months later, the Jacksons have been unable to get clarity on what actually happened to Evie to cause her fatal injuries.
I heard the story of how their beautiful dog Evie tragically lost her life in the Northern Territory boarding facility. I've seen how much Evie's pain and death has caused and continues to cause them. We have been government for nearly 12 months and we've been working hard to ensure that we'll do everything we can to ensure such tragedies are not repeated.
And we know from this petition that right now in the Northern Territory, commercial pet boarding facilities and pet sitters, including those booked through popular apps like Mad Paws or Pawshake, are not covered under the Animal Welfare Act, which means they're unregulated with no licences, no inspections, no oversight and no clear way for families to seek justice and information when something goes terribly wrong.
And so that's why this petition has been so important, and people have already talked about the courage that it takes to use a tragedy to be a force of good. And, you know, that is no small task. You are dealing with your own grief. Every time you talk about the issue, you are having to relive the trauma and the horror of it all. But the power has been so profound and important, and it's resulted in legislative change, which we'll hear more from the Minister about this week in Parliament, which is fantastic. It's a great outcome, not just for Dean and Anitra and, of course, for Evie's legacy, but for pet owners and people who have pets, to make sure that going forward there are the right regulatory processes in place to protect them. And what this really has exposed is that, you know, there are sections that are unregulated that need to be regulated. People have an expectation that they are, and that is a fair expectation, and we have met that expectation by delivering for Territorians. And so while we received about 250 submissions on our Animal Protection Act consultation that we did, we are very proud to be delivering this reform for all Territorians.
Madam Speaker, pets like Evie are family to their owners, and I know many of my constituents and Territorians on a day-to-day basis need to use pet minding facilities when they need to be away from their homes, and yet in the NT, the absence of oversight means now laws currently ensures their safety, accountability and care guarantees. I know I have 3 pets myself, Charlie, Cody and Captain, and we have just inherited 4 chooks, so they're very much part of our family as well.
Madam Speaker, this petition is not an attack on pet businesses. It is a call for responsibility. Many in the industry already do the right thing, but it is not good enough to rely on goodwill when the consequences of failures are so devastating. The government now has a clear mandate to act. The opposition urges the Minister for Animal Welfare to take this petition seriously, consult with the industry and animal welfare groups, and bring forward reforms that reflect the values of the community that cares deeply about its companion animals. We thank the petitioners for their advocacy. We stand with you for calling for change. Thank you.